From the dawn of time, humans have carried a fire within, the urge to push beyond every limit. We built the first boats to conquer the seas, bridged deep ravines with fragile planks, and launched rockets into the endless sky. This hunger to rise higher, to reach further, has always been woven into our story. We call it courage, destiny, the unyielding spirit that refuses to be bound. But as we chase these dreams, the world around us strains under the weight. The oceans, once boundless, now choke on tiny plastic particles that drift silently into the bellies of fish and then back onto our dinner plates. The air grows hotter and drier, birthing massive storms and infernos that devour forests by the millions of hectares. The Arctic melts and seas creep up to swallow crowded cities. Even the food on our plates and the water we drink carry invisible poisons that slip quietly into our bodies. We still hold on to the pride of reaching higher, but what does it mean when every breath we take is shared in the same suffocating air? When every step we conquer also leaves scars on the earth itself? This isn't just a story of breaking limits. It's a deeper question. Where does the true limit lie? In our own bodies? Or in our ability to hear the quiet, urgent pleas of the planet we all call home? The journey of pride and blindness. We humans have always worn our conquests like badges of honor. We dam rivers, dig deep into the earth for treasures, and carve out gleaming seas in places that once were only desert. Every building, every invention stands as proof of how far we've come, how high we can climb. Yet even as we build taller, nature is beginning to answer in a language we can't ignore. Storms no longer come by season. Superstorms roar through more often, stronger, angrier, shattering everything in their path. Hurricane Ian in 2022 carved a path of destruction across Florida, leaving entire neighborhoods in ruin, like scenes from a story no one wanted to believe. And the heat, it no longer just rises, it leaps. The summer of 2023 saw Death Valley, California, scorching at 54 degrees Celsius, a temperature once reserved for the wildest myths. Meanwhile, Europe, its rivers swollen by relentless rains, watch century-old streets drown under muddy water. While rain batters homes, smoke from Canada's forest fires choked cities far away, turning New York's sky a surreal orange in the summer of 2023. Not the soft glow of sunset, but the ominous haze of disaster. And as we race to find clean energy and promise to green the earth, contaminated food still finds its way into kitchens. Plastic waste piles up in forgotten corners, and the air we once took for granted grows more dangerous with every breath. We want to break barriers, but if we don't pause, our steps forward might become a leap off the edge. We can fly higher and even dream of Mars. But before we reach for the stars, we must remember the simple truth. Our breath, our life, still depends on the sky above and the soil beneath. Because no matter how far we run, no matter how high we reach, our greatest accomplishments will mean little if the very air we share is slowly killing us. In this race for progress, if we forget to care for the ground we stand on, that our greatest heights will be nothing more than illusions built on a world that can no longer sustain us. Climate change and the scars on a fading planet. Even as humans charge forward, our planet bears the price. Climate change, once whispered as a distant worry, is now a relentless drumbeat, echoing in the heat waves, the rising seas, the floods and fires that sweep away everything in their path. Year after year, record temperatures tumble like dominoes. No one gasps anymore when summer feels hotter, because next year, it will only burn brighter. In the Mekong Delta of Vietnam, droughts crack open the earth, rice paddies turning to dust, the soil no longer fertile like it was in the tales of grandfathers. In Bangladesh, rising seas swallow up homes inch by inch, pushing families into crowded refugee camps, coining a new phrase, climate refugees, a term that will only grow more familiar. But water is only half the battle. The air we breathe, that invisible lifeline, is turning toxic. In New Delhi, children wear masks to school, their small lungs straining against a haze so thick it steals their future with every breath. Doctors call it the invisible killer, but for those who live in it, it's just another morning. Yet in the heart of our cities, the towers rise taller, the lights shine brighter, monuments to ambition that seem to ignore the slow unraveling beneath their feet. The wealthy can retreat to air-conditioned apartments, organic groceries, bottled water. They can fly to cleaner skies for vacation, but even they cannot buy immunity from the storms that churn the oceans or the wildfires that darken the skies. For those who struggle day to day, the ones who live in crowded neighborhoods, who cook over smoky stoves and drink water from rusted pipes, the cost of survival grows steeper. They cannot afford to go green or live clean. They can only endure, breathing the same air, drinking the same water, and praying for rain that doesn't flood or sun that doesn't scald. We dream of conquering the limits of the human body, of living longer, stronger. Yet what good is a longer life if it's lived on a planet that grows sicker each day? What use is conquering new heights if every breath tastes of plastic and dust? The real question isn't how far we can go, it's whether we can remember that no matter how high we climb, we still stand on this same earth. And if we let it die, our greatest achievements will echo in empty halls, testaments not to our power, but to our blindness. The rich, the poor, and the same breath. As the climate grows harsher, the gap between the wealthy and the poor stretches wider. Those with money can build green havens, high-tech air filters, hydroponic farms, smart homes that monitor every drop of water and every breath of air. They can escape the smog with weekend trips to pristine mountains, buy food that's organic, imported, untouched by the poisons that seep into the fields of the poor. Meanwhile, millions live day to day in neighborhoods that feel the heat first, where the black asphalt radiates the sun back tenfold, where the air is thick with exhaust and the rivers run brown. They cannot afford to buy their way out of the crisis. Their homes flood in storms, crack in droughts, while the rich watch from balconies or from screens that let them believe the disaster is somewhere else. But it isn't. Because no matter how thick the glass or how high the wall, no one can buy a separate atmosphere. The hurricanes don't check your bank account. The air you breathe doesn't care what car you drive or what brand of water you drink. The truth is inescapable. We all share this air, this sky, this thin layer of atmosphere that shields life itself. The wealthy may delay the worst, may dodge the floods for now, but as the planet warms, the storms grow bolder, the seasons more violent. No amount of wealth can hold back the tide forever. And as the world splits into those who can adapt and those who cannot, we risk losing more than just clean air. We risk losing the understanding that we are all bound by the same breath, by the same fragile planet that does not bend to power or money. We chase perfection, perfect homes, perfect bodies, perfect lives, but the earth asks a simpler question. Can you live in balance? Can you share this sky? For the poor, there is no choice. They live with the consequences of the climate every day. For the rich, there is still time to choose, to see that even if they can build islands of comfort, they cannot wall themselves off from the winds or the rising seas. Because in the end, we all return to the same truth. No matter how different our lives seem, we all draw the same breath. And the earth will remember us all, not for how we lived apart, but for how we cared for the world we share. The true limit, empathy, responsibility, and the future we choose. We talk about pushing the boundaries of human strength, about living longer, running faster, reaching for the stars. Yet the greatest limit isn't in our bodies, it's in our hearts, in our willingness to care for what we share. In a world that celebrates achievement above all, we risk forgetting that progress is empty if it leaves others behind, if it leaves the earth itself gasping for breath. We marvel at our ability to bend steel and build taller, but the greatest measure of humanity is not in how high we can climb, but in how deeply we can listen. To the rivers that can no longer run clear, to the forests that stand silent and charred, to the families who fear the next flood more than they hope for tomorrow. This is the true test. Not how far we can stretch the limits of the human body, but how far we're willing to stretch our empathy, our sense of responsibility. Because in the end, the storms will come for us all, no matter how carefully we built our walls. And maybe the real victory isn't in becoming superhuman, but in remembering what makes us human in the first place. Our ability to care for one another. Our courage to stand up and say, "I will not let my neighbor drown while I build a tower to the sky." In the quiet after the flood, after the fires fade, we will have to ask ourselves, did we use our power to lift each other or to stand alone on higher ground? Did we learn that no body, no matter how strong, can outlive a world that's dying? Or did we remember, in time, that the only way to truly conquer our limits is to cherish the earth and each other? Because in the end, this planet does not belong to any one of us. It belongs to us all, and we to it. And the real question is not how far we can go, but how far we're willing to go to ensure that everyone, rich or poor, strong or fragile, can still breathe, still hope, still live in a world worth sharing. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell so you never miss an episode, and so we can keep asking these questions together. Until next time, take care, and remember, you are already enough, no matter what the world says. See you soon.